What's up, YouTube? Back for another video. So listen, I was just watching on one of these sites that I go on about Trump using force on Iran. And he said, the guy that was speaking said, oh, and Trump has the tools, we have the tools to do whatever's necessary, and there's people that have to get back and forth to work, and that's not going to happen if they don't open this straight up for us to get the oil to have gas. Like, this is basically almost like 2020, but the only big thing is that I don't think there's going to be any help for us. If for some reason that things get so bad that people are not able to afford to even get to work, for college students to be able to get to college, if they do, if they go to a local college or whatever, you're basically not going to be able to do anything. So what's going to come down to it is that people are going to start stocking up on gas, which is not a good idea to have it on your property, but I know people that do stuff like that. And I rode by a gas station the other day, and this is like probably about a week ago, because my vehicle's being stupid right now. But so I rode by like a week ago, and it was like $4.15 a gallon. Like, that is ridiculous. And it almost makes people like shopping at places to where they get points off their gas, because then you get the gas for cheaper. But regardless, you're spending money anyway. Like, where I go to Shop and Save, and Shop and Save is 10 cents off every $50 you spend. So it does help. And if you do a lot of shopping, which I see a lot of people doing, then it benefits you. But if you're just going to the store here and there for $10, $15, $20 or $30 or whatever, it's going to take a lot longer. So your best bet is to try to find a place that still has it cheap enough, and fill up a couple of your gas cans if you can, and make sure you just store it properly, because I have a feeling that it's gonna get bad. It's gonna get bad, and it's gonna get bad really, really quick. So fingers crossed that nothing bad really does happen, but be prepared for the worst. And we always like to tell people, some of us on YouTube, I always like to tell people to always stay prepared, because you never know what kind of situation that we are going to be put in. Trump has already cut back on food assistance for a lot of people. And I've seen a lot of people on social media bitching and complaining about it. I get it to a point. If you need help, you need help. But like I said to some of these people, I got into a conversation with some people, and I wish I would have actually recorded it, because it turned out to be a really good video. A really good conversation for a video. I told him, I said, it's funny how these people get pissed off because they're not getting, because they're not getting the assistance that they want, but they're not working. So it's basically like they're just collecting free food, when it should be for the families that are working, that are trying, that just can't afford everything. It shouldn't be for the lazy people that just sit around and don't do anything. I believe that. And I applaud Trump for weeding out certain people. But like in the meantime, like there are people that could be and should be exempt from that. And that's people, even if they're younger or whatever, people that have disabilities that actually can't work. So I get that. You know, it's just people are so used to here, that they're not realizing, like, get up off your ass and go to work. If you could go shopping and go do whatever else, you could go to work. If you are not physically disabled, you should have to go to work. And I think they made it to where you have to work 20 hours a week or make like $200 and some dollars or something like that, to be exempt from, to be able to be eligible for this food assistance or whatever it is. So yeah, y'all, it's making it hard for a lot of people. I hear so many people on social media like, F Trump and F this and F that. Like, y'all, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, you know, it is what it is. Get up off your ass and go do something. You know, it's not hard to work 20 hours a week. It's 5 hours for what, 4 days? Or 4 hours for 5 days? It's not hard. If you can't work 4 hours a day for 5 days, or 5 hours for 4 days, something's wrong with y'all. Something is wrong with y'all. But a lot of people are getting pissed off at a lot of things that Trump is doing. And like I said, it's not Trump's fault. Trump signs the papers. Trump doesn't come up with ideas and say, hey, let's just completely screw all these Americans over. Ideas are brought to him. He does come up with some ideas, but if you notice, any law that has to be passed has to go through the House and the Senate. And then that bill is brought to him and he does this. So it has to get approved first. A lot of things are going to, just be prepared in the next 4 years, well, 3 years. A lot of shit is going to change. A lot. And I'm not saying it's going to be good, but a lot of shit's going to change. And us as Americans just have to deal with it because we have no other choice. You know? And I've noticed some people posting on, well, I guess it's back to the food banks for us. I bet it's get back to the food pantry for us, because we can't afford to do it. Then food banks are going to get overrun with people. And then they're going to not have enough food to give people. So it's like a cycle. It's the government won't help you. So you go to the food banks and the food pantries, and the food pantries can't help you, then what? You're screwed. What else is there? There ain't no other assistance to help you. Food banks and food pantries are the only thing that's next to getting free food assistance. And like, I don't want to get off too much off topic, but I was just talking about the war, and I'm gonna call it a distraction because to me it's something bigger. It's something bigger. It has nothing to do with an actual war. It's something bigger that they're planning. And you know how they always throw stuff in our face as a distraction of what's really about to unfold. And a lot of people are blinded by it. A lot of people are like, no, this is what's happening. That's because what you are told. If you would open your eyes, really open your eyes, and just do research, look into everything that is going on, and tell me that it doesn't feel like a bunch of bullshit that's going on. It doesn't add up. I don't know. I don't know what else to tell y'all, but like I said, just stay prepared. Stock up as much as you can on everything that you need to stock up on, because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 years, in the next 2 years, in the next year, in the next months, in the next weeks. Like, they're already talking about Iran striking us. Not like us particularly, but the United States. Who knows where they're going to hit? You never know. It's not going to be just military bases. It's not going to be just power plants. It's not going to be like certain areas. It's going to be random acts of violence everywhere. And there already is in America as it is, because of everything that's going on and everything that these bills that have been passed, and like just everything that's going on. We have violence already enough here than to bring Iran into it. It's worse, you know, and people don't realize that. I don't know, y'all. Oh, this sun is bright, but it's so much energy. Like, I had broken sleep last night, so like so I'm yawning, but I have energy. Like, I can't stop my yawning. I do this all the time when I'm in videos. I don't know why, but yeah, y'all, like, the only thing I could tell y'all is just to be ready. Be ready. Get whatever you can stocked up and just be ready, because we don't know literally what is going to go on in the near future. The very near future. We don't know. So just please, y'all, stay prepared. Stay ready. You know, like I said, just stock up what you can, because it's the only thing we can do. And if you looked at my previous video that I have titled Follow Suit, is that we have no choice but to follow the laws. We could go against them, but there's consequences. So it's kind of like, it's a lose-lose for us, because if somebody does stand up and say, hey, look, we're not going for this, even if you have dozens or thousands, whatever, it's not going to work. You know, all the protesting and things like that, what is it for? It's not accomplishing anything. So all y'all out there protesting all these different things, like, what did you accomplish? All you did was say something. All you did was walk down the street with a sign or a banner or a flag. Nothing's changed. They just had down in Pittsburgh, was it this past weekend or the weekend before, the No Kings rally. It was like against like presidential power or whatever, and it's like, it was so many people that were down there. I was watching a video, my brother being one of them, and he literally hates Trump, but he was down there, and I said to him, I'm like, what did you accomplish doing it though? Like, I understand you made your presence known, that you're against this presidential power. But what did you accomplish? Did you make a change? No. So really, what was done? Nothing. Follow suit or suffer consequences. That's the only thing we can do. The only thing we can do is rise up above the negativity. And I know it's hard because a lot of people, like, a lot of things are getting so expensive nowadays that it's hard to live. You know, I told you, they already cut the food thing. They're working on cutting medical, which is really going to hurt a lot of people. And there are people that pay for medical, but who knows if that's even going to go up. They're going to have some kind of program that's going to be for, I guess, like the lower income families that can't afford to pay higher medical insurance. And there is some that people that are provided through work that you can get through your job, but then there's some that isn't. So you have to kind of weigh your options. You know, and it's sad. I talked to a few people and they said, you know, we have to weigh our options. It's either we get food or we do this, or we get this and we do that, or we do this. So it's like, do you pay your rent or do you get food for your family? Like, it's coming down to that for a lot of people, and it's not easy. And the housing market is so expensive. You know, I've seen places for rent that were like $1,500 a month for rent plus utilities. There's ones that were $2,000 a month plus utilities. I have one of my neighbors around the area that right now live in a 2-apartment building, 2 apartments, one on top, one on the bottom, and they pay $850 plus utilities, and that's for a little apartment. So imagine families that need 4 bedrooms. I could imagine what the rent is. You know, and that's where the people weigh their options of buying or renting, because if you buy, you might be paying close to what you're paying for rent, but you're paying to own it. So it's kind of a good thing to buy instead of rent, because it's just like it's never ending. You're just paying and paying and paying and paying and paying. You never own anything. And I've rented places in the past that were $900 a month, $1,000 a month, $1,200 a month, $1,300 a month. And imagine if you were there for 5, 6, 7, 8 years and you were paying that. Imagine you could buy a house or put a nice substantial amount down on a house. And if you don't have the perfect credit, then you're putting a lot more down. So everything's tying in together. Like, it seems like in the past couple years, it seems like everything has gotten out of hand. It has gotten harder. You know, it's not easy. It really isn't. And I could be the first one, like, I'm not, you know, I'm one of them. Like, it's not easy, but you got to do what you got to do, you know, because if not, you're going to be living in the streets, and that's not something that somebody wants, especially if you know you're trying as hard as you can to find out that, like, what you did was not enough. So it's not easy. Shout out to all the people, all the hardworking families, the parents, uncles, aunts, grandparents that are out there busting their ass, working every day, even to the ones that are getting disability that are trying so hard to stay afloat. Trust me, you're not alone. There are millions of people that are in the same situation that you are in, and it's not easy. But anyway, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Comment below and let me know what you guys think of the video. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I will see you guys in the next one. Like I said, stay prepared, stay ready, and you won't have to get ready. All right, y'all. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.